Everyone, very good morning and good evening. Welcome to our Step Up Circle. Let's quickly get it started. And our today's topic, which we are doing in Step Up Circle, is Enable Now. Enable Now in nutshell. Okay, so let's start with what and why. The first thing we need to understand what is Enable Now and why we need to use Enable Now. What is Enable Now and why we need to use Enable Now? So basically, Enable Now is a product from SAP. Enable Now is a product from SAP which is used to build some training content, to develop some uh, training. So who's training? To whom we are going to train? So we are talking about here the end user trainings, right? In SAP implementation, in the phases, the different phases we have, in all of the phases, there would be one track would be there, that is a change management track. The change management track responsibility is to make sure that this ERP change, whether we are upgrading from ECC to S4HANA or we are going to S4HANA from JD Edwards, or we are going to S4HANA from Microsoft Dynamics or any another ERP we are shifting it, that's a big change, right? So change management is a track who handle this big change. So under this change management track, they focus on that how this change can be adopted, absorbed by the end user community who would be finally using the product. So we are implementing SAP S4HANA. With SAP S4HANA implementation, we would be doing SD module, MM module, PP module, and we'll be having a large user community who would be using it. There would be people who would be creating purchase orders. There would be people who need to create the sales orders, who need to do the month-end closings, finance people. So there are a big target audiences there. And these target audience into a big companies would be very huge. It can be in a small company from 1,000 people, and in a large enterprises, it can go to the 10,000 people, right? So that is a big community. We want to make sure that what solution we are putting in place, these people should be able to understand what they need to know, what they need to do once SAP comes into the place. Once SAP S4HANA comes into the place, how they would be creating their purchase order, how they would be checking their reporting, how they will go into the BI reporting, how they will go into the BW reporting, how they would be able to create their inquiries, quotations, all these transactions, how it would be happening it. So even the after implementation also, once the implementation has been done, there would be iteration rates, there would be people leaving the company, there would be new people joining in. All these new peoples you need to train on SAP. You need to train on SAP. Now, SAP is not a tool like Excel. SAP is not a tool like a Gmail or Microsoft Office, where if people even does not know, they will come, they will explore, and they will be able to work on it. Okay, SAP is integrated our end-to-end enterprise. Our end-to-end enterprise, it is integrated. SD is there, MM is there, FS is there, finance is there, controlling is there, and everything is integrated. So if you want to create one transaction, if you want to do a one transaction, that one transaction itself, you need to do it correctly. Everything should be correct. Otherwise, when you will be going ahead simultaneously, proceeding further, there would be a lot of issues which would be there. Month-end closing will not happen. Financial errors will be there. A lot of things would be there. If I will just give you one example from our current project, the operations start from creating a contract, then it goes to the sales orders, then delivery, then goods issue. In parallel, the linkage is there with the RAR module, okay, revenue and accounting recognitions. So if the contract is not created correctly, if all the information in the contract, and it has so many customized fields, one full tab, almost 60 to 80 different customized fields, which influence how this scenario would happen when you will be booking a sales order, which influence how the scenario will happen when you will go into RAR, which influence what will happen when you do the delivery goods issue or for the billing. A lot of controls are having with the parameters we set it up, which we set it up in the contract. Now, if the contract is not set it up correctly, we will face a lot of issues. Now, from the design side, the functional consultant has done a very good job. They have put it whatever the business requirement, whatever the scenarios, contract has been created, everything is working fine. But the problem which we are facing, So many errors in RAR, 60 to 70% things get stuck in the RAR because we have so many different scenarios. And for each of this scenario, we need to create contract little differently. So for that particular business scenario, if you have set it up your contract in that context, then the full scenario you would be able to run successfully. Otherwise, in between, when you will proceed ahead, you will find error, you will come back into the contract, you will reverse block the sales order, reverse the delivery, reverse the GIs, and a lot of repetitive work you need to do it. Then you will be doing it. And then if people said, Kiya bhaiya, what you have put it this SAP, sare aadmi pareshan. Right? That kind of definition people come up with. Now, the thing is that the design is very good. Design is exactly what business requires. But the end users does not understand. They are working into their specific things, into the sales orders, into the contract. They don't understand until unless we make them understand that what would be the impact. Okay, what would be the impact? And you will see a lot of errors get increased when one guy leave and another guy comes. A lot of new errors you would be receiving it, right? Because he is not setting up the things correctly. So it has become very important that after doing a good work, designing the SAP correctly, testing the SAP correctly, we also train the SAP very correctly, right? So that's the place where basically the change management comes into the picture. That's the place where basically the full training department comes into the picture. And nowadays we have a specialized people for this. So I will just compare the implementation which I have done in 2006 or in 2010. I have done a very big implementation. In this implementation, what we were used to do, okay, we used as a consultant, we will used to go into the design phase, and when we are doing into the build phase, in build phase, when the things has been done, parallel to the build phase, we'll start working into the training document. And then we'll be having a ITC1. So ITC1 also will be working into the training documents. What training documents? Generally, what we have worked is the PPT documents. In some cases, the Word documents we have created. This PPT and Word documents we have created, and that is what we give it to the end users, and end user get trained on it. We do the train the trainer approach. We do some live sessions, okay, or then the core team members, they use this PPT decks to do the live session, train the people, give them some hands-on things, and the things has been done, right? That was the old way. That was the old model. Now in the new way, new model, a lot of things would be required. A lot of advanced things would be required. A lot of things have been changed post-COVID, right? Post-COVID, after the post-COVID, the implementation we are doing, the travel has been reduced like anything. We are doing earlier SAP implementation means for go live 1 to 2 months, you'll have to be on-site. That things also now has been stopped. We are delivering everything online. Okay, most of the things we are trying to deliver the online. So in that concept, the change management, how we will be making sure the end user who we are onboarding, the end user who we are onboarding, we train him well so that he can understand all of the concepts, and he would also be able to have a good hands-on. He would also be able to have a good hands-on. Okay, that's the where Enable Now comes into the picture. Where when you have a PPT, when you have a Word document which you have created, how about the hands-on? Now for hands-on, we have a system we create on which we try to give hands-on. But how many hours of hands-on we give it? I remember we do for one track production, let's say the master data, we did 4 hours of training. In some cases, 6 hours of training. In that 6 hours of training, 4 hours of training, 3 hours we were speaking, we were telling them. Then we give them 1 hour, okay, now you go and try to do something. So business actually have 100 of scenarios. In this approach, in this trainings, we teach them 1 scenario, 2 scenario. This is still an overview kind of training. And then they need to jump into the system. They need to try themselves something. And when they try to do themselves something, they find some errors and then they get stuck. They are not able to proceed ahead. So the amount of goods hands-on which is required, which need to be given to the business users is not that amount of hands-on they are getting it. Okay, they are not able to experience the system as they need to do it. That's where the tools like Enable Now comes, which which increase your training capabilities, where the training content you would be able to develop from Enable Now. And one of the big content which we'll be talking about, is the applications simulations. Application simulations. That would be one of the big content which we want to deliver it. How many people know what is application simulation? What do you understand from the application simulation? Quickly on the chat window. What do you understand with this terminology, application simulation? We basically run what we have developed, a kind of giving a real-time experience through an example, right? Application simulation is kind of giving you a real-time experience. How you would be doing it. It's like that you are having a banking application, you have application simulation, you are going it, you are entering your account username, password, and you're trying to do one transactions. If you do it, what happens? Where you need to click, how you need to click account, NEFT, IMPS, how you click it, how you proceed ahead with the account. So you will have to go, you'll have to press the buttons, you have to click, but still it's a simulation. No money will get transferred to anyone, but you are getting confident, okay, this is how the transaction need to happen. And then you are getting confidence from that. You are seeing the screen, actual screen, which we will be doing it in the production system, the same kind of screens you are seeing it, right? Now, before I proceed ahead with the Enable Now discussion, it is very important because the other content is also there. We can do a lot of things with Enable Now, right? But one of the key selling features of Enable Now is application simulation, and which I feel is a must for every implementation. Why it is must for every implementation? I will talk about in this segment that key issues in SAP implementation project, right? But let's view it. I want you to, before we discuss further, I want you to let you know what is the end game, what is the end product which we are talking about from the application simulation, okay? So I will try to share my screen. Let me open one of the application simulations which has been developed by Enable Now, and then you would be able to understand more. When I am seeing application simulation, what do I mean? Okay, just give me a minute. Okay, it's being loaded. We'll also talk about how to develop those contents, but just give me some time so that I can open it. And I want to open some example which most of you would be able to correlate, something very simple. I want to open it. Okay. I think this would be a good example. Creating as simple as creating a purchase order. I will try to open that. Okay. 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 Okay, now you will be able to see. Now, I am into the application simulation. This simulation has been created by SAP Enable Now. Okay, it has been created through SAP Enable Now. Where basically what we do in Enable Now, we record the screen. There would be a producer would be there. With the producer, we record the screen and then we change it. Then the end result of this recording would be this thing, which will be coming it up. This is the application simulation where this is a Fiori screen. But this is not actual Fiori thing. This is a Fiori simulation screen where I would be going and I would be doing a creation of purchase order I would be doing from this screen. Let's see how the creation of purchase order we can do it, how system would be training an end user. So it's asking, follow the steps. I would be click here. First thing I need to do is I need to click on the manage purchase order. So this has been highlighted. So this is kind of a guided tour we are giving it. This is many times we do it, right? When we do this kind of trainings to the end user, we sit beside them. We say that, okay, now you click there, now you do this, now you do that. Now that thing, this tool would be doing it. A screen is there, exactly the same screen they would be seeing in the production system. Same tile would be there, and then they would be clicking on the manage purchase order. And as soon as they click, this screen will come. The next thing they need to do is create on this. You can see this bubbles, this highlight, this has been built by Enable Now. Now I will click on create. Okay, it say that add this supplier number here. We need to create this purchase order for this supplier. This has a limited information because this is kind of a standard and very basic one. When we create it for the project, we give a lot of information related to the business scenario, which business scenario you are doing it, and for the different business scenario, what kind of data you need to enter. In these explanation, we explain a lot. So now here user is experiencing, he need to enter this supply number, and I actually need to type it 173000001 and enter. Okay, so domestic, this is how it will be happening. When you will press enter, the system will be getting a lot of things automatically, which is getting. Now it is asking me click on the delivery and invoice. I have clicked there. Payment term, add 003, right? Let's say if I only add 3, what happens? It add 3 and press enter. Okay, system has taken 3 also, and system has proceeded ahead. That's what we have developed. Whether user is putting 3003 or 03, system should be able to proceed ahead. Or the other thing can happen, if user is doing something wrong, a pop-up will come here, and that pop-up will show that you have entered wrong and you need to repeat the step to go ahead and do the things. So let's say I need to click here on the notes, but I clicked here. So this kind of pop-up will come. This is a standard functionality of Enable Now, that we need to go to the next step, or we can try again. I want to try again, and I need to click on the notes. In notes, it's asking me that we can put PO for testing. Okay, and then I need to press enter. Then I need to go into the items to create a purchase order. Purchase order, if you want to purchase something, that's what we created. And then click on create. Enter material. So material we are using for this scenario, TG0011. Press enter. Plant we are using 1710. Quantity 200. So if you want to display the more details, now this is the query which I get it in my project when we were into it. Sir, the purchase order item in S/4HANA has a very limited fields. I have only 4 or 5 fields. When actually I was working in GUI, there was so many different fields was there. That kind of people get stuck here, ki bhaiya, what they need to do it. So in this simulation, it is telling you, if you want to see more details, you need to click on this. Then it will jump into the details and you will be having a more details of the item. Now here we need to go into the process control and make sure that this good receipt icon, it is asking just to tick. When we do it in the project, there would be explanation to check it. In which scenario this should be ticked, in which scenario this should not be ticked, we have explained it. And we'll explain for this scenario, this is a particular scenario where we need to go and tick on this indicator, good receipt based invoice verification. Go into the delivery details and you can see the bar. You can see the bar below. That bar shows you that how many different steps are there. That bar shows you that how many different steps are there. Okay. I need to enter story location 171A story location. I will enter it. Then it is asking go and check the schedule lines. Delivery date is 2605. If it is okay, let's proceed ahead. Click on apply. Okay, now everything is okay. We need to go and click on order. As soon as we have clicked on order, this is what the purchase order has been created. And here we will be able to see the purchase order number. Okay, the purchase order number has been created and purchase order number will be able to get it displayed here. We can return to the launchpad and then we can end the simulation. This is how we have given experience to a user कि भैया when you will be jumping into the production system, how you would be able to create a purchase order, how you would be able to create a purchase order. That's experience we are giving it to user. And this is all simulation. I have shown you with Fiori. It can happen with Fiori. You can also record GUI. GUI also, it works similarly, same way. Actually, Enable Now is a kind of an external tool. Even you can use this for the external applications also. You are using another CRM applications. You are having a connection with Hybris. You are having a connection with, let's say, any another CPQ system. You are having your connections with JD Edwards, Oracle's Microsoft Dynamics system. Those screens you open in between, or in between you have created one simulation where basically in between we need to go into the company browser. From the company browser, we need to go into the particular space. From there, we need to open the Excel sheet. And from the Excel sheet, we need to check that information. And then we need to get back here. That kind of recordings also we can do it, where you would be able to jump from one application to another application, and user would be able to do seamlessly. He would be clicking and going through that route. He would be clicking and going through the route and getting it uh, done. Okay, so these kind of things, this is the end result of Enable Now. This is one of the thing, but this is the most important thing which I consider it, to create application simulations for the users. Because when we just give them the system and the user is new, he just get lost in the system. There's so many fields are there, so many tabs are there, and because we are following standard SAP, we cannot hide each and every tab and fields. We want user to focus on their key fields and we want to train them on that. This can be a very good tool. This can be a very good tool where you would be able to give them the tool, they would be able to practice it, and they would be able to deliver the things. Now, these things will be developed, delivered by the tool Enable Now. Whether Enable Now is the only tool for it? No. There are the other tools also. We'll talk about them also. But this is how it need to be done. Is it cool? Do you have any questions till now? Let me know. And if you are very clear that what is the end results of the Enable Now, I want you to put in the chat VC. Quickly, VC on the chat, very clear on the chat if you understand what is the end result of the Enable Now. What is the major end result of the Enable Now, which we are going to happen. If you have any question, feel free to put the questions there. Okay. Yeah, it would be exactly SAP. Sometime you will be working on Enable Now simulation and you will forget, कि भैया, is it SAP screen or is it a simulation I am working on? Is it SAP screen or is it a simulation? These all simulations can work on the browser. Okay, it would be running on the browser. Even the GUI simulation also would be working on the browsers. No need to install anything. So this link to this, I'm using it, one of the standard SAP Enable Now. Link to this, when you develop the things into the project, this would be enabled in the learning portals where the learning happens. The links would be enabled there, or links would be given you by the training team through the presentations or the 3 emails. They would be giving the link to you, or you would be having access to SAP Manager. Enable Now has the two components, producer and manager. In the manager, you would be able to see what all trainings has been assigned to you, what all things you want to get it created, you would be able to do it. Now, this one I have run in the practice mode. This was a practice mode. There is a multiple different modes can be there. There would be option which we don't have here. You would be able to play as a video. So it's a quick 2 minutes video. System will go by themselves, clicking there, clicking there, clicking there, clicking there. Within 2 minutes, it will tell you in a video how the purchase order need to be created. Okay, and it can also, after the practice, you can also go into the test mode. In the test mode, you can just give the data that you need to use this material, this vendor, this plant, this storage location, you need to use it. And by using that, you need to go ahead in this screen and try to create your purchase order. In this guidance will not come, because now we are testing whether he got it correct. He need to automatically click on the right things. If he is clicking on the right things, screen will proceed. In the sequence, if you have put it something wrong, then a pop-up will come that will say that you have done something wrong. and we can also give them some hint what need to be done. So in a test mode, we can do it. In a practice mode, this was a practice mode, a guided practice we have done. And then we can also convert into a video. And then you can also convert this after doing the recording. Once it has been done, you can create your presentation, PPT document you can create from it. You can create your end user manual. You can create a hands-on practice guide. You can create your transaction guides. Different templates are available. You just need to click after the recording is done. Proper everything is in format, system will deliver it to you. I have few questions. I will quickly check from back. How did you come to this application simulation? Is there any app? So the application which you need to download is SAP Enable Now. I will come to that how this things will happen, how you would be using Enable Now. You need an Enable Now system. And once the Enable Now system, the things has been done, it need to be produced. Once it is produced, a link would be given to you. Okay. Archana is asking, Enable Now will provide the standard business process steps. How about the customized business scenarios? Can we change the standard steps in the Enable Now? So this is a standard which has been given by Enable Now, which I am using it. Enable Now give you the standard transaction library, which you can use it and then you can edit it. But what happens in the project? My experience, I'm telling you, we don't use this standard because there's so much of customization in the screens are there. Changing, using this standard and changing, we feel better कि we create a new one. So generally we create a new one. So this is from SAP standard. If I have created exactly the same thing in Enable Now, in the project, I have gone into the Enable Now producer. I have started my recording. I have recorded a transaction. Then I have done the editing. And after the editing, the end result is this, but that is with all of my customized thing. My order type will come, my purchase order numbers, my suppliers codes will be there, right? My materials would be there. My payment terms would display off. My custom fields would be there because I am recording my system recording. So all the options which is there in my system, that will go to the user. Okay. So this is given by standard SAP. I'm showing you standard SAP. I cannot show you the client system to you, right? So I'm showing you the standard SAP. But 100% of the things which we have done in the project is all starting from scratch zero because you know that completely customization clients does. So this will not fly as it is. You need to create it. That was a question from Archana. I have a few more questions. Where this recording would be shared, this recording will try to give you on YouTube, but it can take a couple of weeks to come in the YouTube. If you have already subscribed to our courses, Sastrageek courses, in Sastrageek courses, we have a step-up circle. Under the step-up circle, whatever the session I do on the Sunday evening for you, for the community, we provide in as a complimentary, as a step-up circle videos. Master Reddy said that in this case, we don't prepare the test scripts. No, this is not for the testing because when we do the testing, we are doing the testing to identify the issues from the system, right? Now, this is you have done a recording, it will not be creating any issues, right? So testing we need to do to make sure that the system is fine, to identify that whether any problem is in the system, try to identify what are the issues, try to explore the system by clicking here, clicking there to test it, whether in all scenario it will work fine or not. So for that, we don't use this tool Enable Now. This is only training tool. We need to go with the testing approach. For testing, we have another testing automation tools. And a lot of there, more than 20 tools are there on the testing automations that we can use, but not the Enable Now. Megharaj has a question. Can you please show how? Okay, that's I have answered. VC. A few more questions. Still, people have to remember the steps while doing the actual task. So now, Jitendra, the question is that how people would remember that what actual task they need to do. How people remember it. If I ask, if I wake up a guy, a procurement guy, who is a strategic buyer, If I wake him up and I say that, how do you create a purchase order in SAP? He will tell you like this, right? He will tell you, because in a day in, day out, he's doing those steps. So people remember when they do it. People remember when they do it with their own, then the chances of remembering is more, right? When they practice their own, then they remember it. Okay, so that's what we are trying to do it here. Give them the 10, 15 different scenarios. Go ahead, they will be clicking it. They would be practicing on this system 10, 15 times. When they will repeat those steps, then they would be able to remember. Okay, then they would be able to remember. And even if they forget it, they can come back to their learning platform, learning portal. They can come back, they can watch it again if they forget something, and they can proceed ahead. We can upload the PDF document, a simulation video, and practice the simulation also. There is some feature available to upload the documents. You can do it. You can upload it as a picture, but you need to tell what is going to happen with that PDF, right? PDF you can use in the simulation, but how you need to use in the simulation, that you need to understand it, or that you need to decide it. What is the usage of that PDF in the simulation? We need to add the custom T codes in the Enable Now. Now, the Enable Now, you need to understand, Enable Now is a separate tool which sits outside. Okay, this is Enable Now which sits outside. It record the screen. So any transaction code you will open, any product you will open Excel sheet. You can also record in it that how to apply VLOOKUP in Excel sheet. That also you can do it and deliver it through the Enable Now. You need to understand it's an outside tool which will record whatever you are recording. You're recording a standard SAP, it will record. You're recording custom transaction, it will record. You're recording Fury, it will record. Okay, it will record and it will try to create into a simulation. Anything. You can use JD Edwards also. Microsoft Dynamics, Oracle Transport Management also you can record by using this. It will create a simulation for them also. It's not hard linked that only SAP we can record anything. Do we need to have a license for it? If yes, what is the license cost? Archana, yes. मुफ्त में कुछ नहीं मिलता SAP से. Definitely it has a license cost. You need to pay for it. Many times the license is very complicated. The way SAP sell the license to the different customer is the different customer has been sold differently. Many times they might be giving this 6 month, 1 year license for a free. With the S4HANA, that kind of things, they can also do it. A lot of people get it. But you need to check with the team, your basis team need to approach. Although I have some part, I hope I would be able to show some standard figures, approx what is the cost for it. I would be able to show, I have a link for it, but it totally depends how you negotiate with SAP. But this is a licensed product. This is not a free product. Is it compatible with SAP GUI? It is 100% compatible with SAP GUI. We have created thousands of app simulations with SAP GUI. You can take my word. Does it have its own memory or DB to store recording? No. It would be storing the content which is storing. It can store on, now I will speak on more when I jump into my mind map. We have on-premise and we have a cloud. If you're using cloud, then it is using SAP Cloud Database. On the SAP Cloud Database, the things would be recorded. We prefer to use cloud. I would recommend to use cloud. I have used both on-prem and the cloud. Cloud is more lighter and cloud is little bit faster than the on-prem. That's what we have faced. We have seen in the project. So when you use cloud, then from the cloud, it is using SAP Cloud to save your recordings. So can we say basically it's a record and playback tool? It's a record and playback tool, but don't also take it very lightly. That recording would not be that easy recording. If you do a transaction in 1 minute, it can easily take you 10 minutes to record the transaction. And another 4 or 5 hours it will require, and sometimes full day it will require to do the editing, to bring it to a position where you look like, where it looks. A lot of things you need to do it. A lot of things. I will give you some glimpse what you need to do it with this. In case of on-prem, it will save on our database, right? Will you cover the TM overview in this session? This is not a TM overview. This is Enable Now overview. So we are going with the Enable Now. Nothing related to TM Asad in this session. Okay, that was a basic question. Now let me go back and jump into the mind map. Now, what are the key issues are there which can be addressed by this tool? Okay, and I will talk about this is not the only tool. In market, there are other tools are also, but this is very fine-tuned with SAP application. The fine-tuning is done for this tool for the SAP application. The other third-party applications are available which you can use, but those are not that fine-tuned with the SAP application. This is basically very fine-tuned for SAP applications. Enable now that we can say. Now, what are the key issues in SAP implementation projects, which I have seen? The first system is that you need to build a training system. Okay, training system landscape, you need to build it. Okay, and in our case also, we try to build up a separate training system. So we have our is a big project. So many different systems are there. But if I explain you, development system is there. Then we have a quality system. Then we have a training system. Then we have another system, which is for your support track system is there. Then we have one more system which we specifically use for the UAT. And one more system is there which we use for the regression. So many systems are there. This is one landscape. You can multiply it easily by almost 20 to get the total number of SAP system in our landscape. It's very big and huge landscape we have. In this, we have developed this system, which is a training system, complete separate system. Now, the problem is if you want to give a user, now our scenario, our systems, if we talk about a production system is connecting with at least 15 different applications. It's connected with the CPQ tool, CRM tool. It's connected with Hybris. It's connected with MDG. It's connected with Agile. It's connecting with your few third-party tools. It's connected with the SRM tools. More than 15 different applications it is connected with. And if you want to give a user a very good hands-on experience, you need to also connect this system with all these different applications. But that to manage it for the training system would be very difficult. In our project, having one of the biggest companies in their segment, having one of their very good teams, we were not able to do any integration. Finally, basis team said that we will be having a standalone training system. It will not be having any connection with the another system because it is not easy. For a training system, if you want to connect to the third-party systems, they should also have some kind of training system which you can get connected with. Interface need to be managed, monitoring need to be done, basis team, another people need to be involved. Then it becomes another training becomes another big project. Training becomes another big project. So we said, okay, let's go with the standalone system. Now with the standalone system, we have copied it from the quality system to this training system. We have done the copy, but there are a lot of changes happening. They said that your copy will happen once in a 6 month, your copy will happen, or 3 times in a year, a copy will happen. But during the UAT, during everything, a lot of changes is happening, which is there in this system. But when we are training people on this system, the function and feature in this system is different, and function and feature in this actual system is different, right? So again, we have a problem, right? The user is not getting what actually would be happening in production. Neither he is getting the interfaces, nor he is getting the actual functionalities, which is happening. On top of it, because if it is a standalone system, there is a lot of additional error CCs because it is not connected with the another production system, another SAP system where the batch need to be allocated from this system, and it is not connected with this system. Some kind of different errors user will see it, but he need not to bother about it because he will not see those errors in actual system. But unnecessary, he sees those errors here. Unnecessary, he see finance system, it's not connected properly with RAR, some RAR steps has not been done. He will see some kind of unexpected errors. All these things, many of these things will not happen in the production system, but because of the system landscape, user feels a lot of issues. And developing a separate system, we have done it. Not many people are able to do it. Sometime we do the client copy, and then we need to spend a lot of hours, a lot of efforts, how the data will come up. In one of the project we are doing it, we have a separate strategy, separate strategy, and we started from the design phase itself. The CRM tool, the change management had started from the design phase itself to covering it up, what are the things would be required. So when the data team is working to create the data, they are also segregating it out. They have a separate material template, customer template, vendor template, supplier template, business partner template, that this would be a test data which would be going into the training. This selective data would be going into the training. So when you put this data, then you need to test this data before you give the hands-on to the users, whether it's working fine or not. And even it's working fine today, on the training date, when you're doing a training, when you're doing a demo, or when you said, Ki, bhaiya, go ahead and do the hands-on, somebody has changed something, one string, that's a complete system, connected the multiple string. One body has touched the one string, everything got disturbed. And then you have a surprises during your trainings, right? And user said, what is this? You show something, it is not happening in the system. Some particular error is coming into, I'm not able to proceed ahead, right? And although it's not related to user, it's somebody in the finance, in the master data, somebody changed something, and because of that, impact is coming it up. So that that will not go and create a very good training environment. That is the problem issues we face in the trainings. The training systems and a lot of efforts to build this training system goes in. Where basically these tools can reduce those efforts. We can restrict that all the end users will not go with this kind of system hands-on. All the end users would be going with the application simulations, and only the core team members, only the core team members would be having a in the quality system, they would be getting trained, they would be exploring the system, and the end user community would be going with the app simulations, right? So that is the way we can proceed ahead. And there are a lot of things. It's don't think that it is a limited functionality. Let me tell you, there's a lot of things which you can train through the Enable Now simulation, which you would not be even train it, which you will not be even train it with this actual system. Actual system, last 20 years of my experience, every project I face this issues that whatever the system you use for the training is not connected. Maybe it's connected with one system, two system, but it's not connected with all of the systems in the landscape. So that experience, if you want to give it, that never we are able to give it. We said that, okay, assume that the bill of material has come. If you want to tell them, okay, we are going into the CRM, and in my hybrid system, I'm punching this, I'm clicking on this, and then the order came, and then I can see onto the SAP screen and see the order. That kind of things we always struggle to train, where the integration comes. But with Enable Now, you can find a good scenario running into the different system, connected system, into the quality system, or into the production system. You can record them, and that recording you can give it to them so that they can experience the integrations also. Okay, so there's a lot of things are there which you can do with Enable Now, but you will not be able to do with the actual systems when you're giving the trainings. Exposure to the actual scenarios, we will be able to give it. Exposure to the actual scenarios, the integrated scenarios, always a problem. Okay, always a problem. So that we can get it done. Integration between system, I have talked about. Availability of training data, I have talked about. Unseen and unnecessary issues. Unseen and unnecessary issue will not come here because we have recorded in that way. And we can also hands-on experience, we can give it to the specific, okay, errors. This I forgot to write here, for the specific errors. So what happens when they will be going into the production system? Okay, in the master data, if particular thing they have not maintained, okay, if the master data particular thing they have not maintained, then they would be facing an error when they would be creating a production order. Now this thing, you want to give them the experience, if this error comes, you need to check the particular master data, And in this master data, you need to maintain this particular setting, and then you need to come into back into the production order and then try to execute. It will happen. The error and error resolutions, which happens in a lot, the Kogi errors. The PP team would be able to get connected with Kogi errors. Kogi is a transaction code where we do the production order error handling. We want to give experience the different errors when it comes, what kind of different resolution we need to check, right? Now, in the training system, it is very difficult to create all of these errors. And if you will create it for one or two materials, one guy, when he has resolved it, for other people, they will not see the error. So in the training system, it is by chance if that error comes, you will guide them, okay, you resolve it with that way. Or you can give the resolution, you can give them the experience for one or two errors, but not for all of the errors. Here you can record the specific examples where you know that for this example, in the production order execution, an error will come. And for that error, what I need to go and back and check, you would be able to showcase. And once it has been recorded, every person, you have 3,000 production users, all these 3,000 production user would be able to experience that error and how to resolve it. That is the biggest advantage which I see from Enable Now, which I always struggle in the end user training. How to teach them errors and resolution? Because if you have fixed the error for the material, and generally we have a one material or two, three materials everybody's using, once it is fixed, then you need to again create that error related data. So you can create for one, but there can be 15 errors you need to showcase. If you want to give them the experience, if this error will come, this is how you need to resolve. If this error will come, this is how you resolve. With Enable Now, we are able to do that things. Creating 15 different scenarios, different. If this error comes, what resolution need to be done, recording has been done, and all the 3,000 production users which I have, with that single recording, they are experiencing those errors. That if this error happens, what should be the resolutions? Okay, if this error happens, what should be the resolution? This is a place where I felt that these simulation tools would be able to generate the magic, which we are not able to do it in our traditional trainings. Okay, quickly, any questions on this? Do you have any issues related to the training into your implementation project, which you feel that whatever I have explained, even it cannot be addressed by that? You can feel free to put it. I will check your questions or those issues which you feel that you have, and then we'll proceed ahead. In case of on-prems, yes, the data will be stored in our database, whichever the database you have used, HANA or any other database where this application has been installed with your basis team. On that database, the data would be stored. The recordings would be stored. These trainings we have to record, or they are pre-recorded by, pre-provided by SAP. So Aret, maybe you have joined late. So one of the things which I have shown to you, the purchase order one, that was a pre-recorded by SAP. But what I have explained in most of the project, we need to record from scratch, because every project, every client has a different fields, different scenarios, different data, okay, and a lot of customization. Because of that, 90 to 95% of the time, you need to record it first. 90 to 95% of the time you need to record it first. Quickly, if you don't have any question, type NQ, no question, in the chat window. If you don't have any question, everyone, quickly NQ. If you have any question, type on the chat, put it onto the chat. Will it support will it support different languages if we have users from the different regions? So now again, you need to say that this is recording. So if you are recording in English, the recording has been done in English. Now we are going for a country in France where the French language need to be used. So you need to record it into the French. You need to log into SAP in a French language, and then you need to record in the French. All of the things which you are giving it into the text, typing it that into the French language, you need to type it. There are some translation tools have been available, which I have never used it, but that translation tool also would be able to only translate what you are mentioning in your, when the guidance comes, like click here, enter this, only that things they can convert into the different language. But the SAP screen, it need to be recorded again into the different screens. So in short, different countries going with the different languages, separate recording need to happen for them. Okay, thank you for all the NQs. Let's proceed ahead. Enable Now components. So what are the Enable Now components are there? So largely we have two components. We have a producer and we have a manager. Okay. This is what you need to install in your system. Even though you are using cloud or even though you are using it on-prem, producer need to be installed. Okay. From the cloud web page, we need to install this. This is a small software which need to be installed in your system. Once you will install, then only you would be able to record the things. Okay. Recording and editing. So producer is used for record and edit. And manager is basically used to publish your stuff. Manager is basically used to publish your stuff. So we can publish our stuff on the manager and we can record and edit on the producer. This is also can work as a LSM tool where basically you can have all the users. You can publish all of your trainings here, which you have created. Just to give you the heads up that I have shown the basically app simulation. Enable Now can create the full training, full interactive training it can create. You can add the presentations into it. You can add the slides into it. You can add small videos in between in it for the explanation if you want to get it added. You can also add some speech, some text. You can add text to speech. You can add those all kind of function features are available to create a full-fledged training which explain the concepts and also give the hands-on simulation. So that full-fledged training you can use to publish this on the manager. Okay, so manager can also not LSM, LMS, learning management system. It can also work as a learning management system. Or you can record, edit, and you can download all the content from here. And generally, we have seen that the companies, they already have their learning management systems. They already have their learning universities by using success factors, by using workdays. They already have their learning management system. So you can download the content, and this content which has been downloaded, it has been downloaded into the format that in all of the universal LMS systems which you're using, it would be able to publish. So you can download and you can publish on your own learning management systems, whether you're using success factors or you're using Workday or any other learning management system you're using it, you would be able to publish your content into LMS. Okay. Manager is if you're using cloud, manager is always online from the browser you can connect, and the producer is the app which need to be downloaded. So we can record, we can edit, and we can export the content. And with the manager, we can publish the content into the manager. Now let's go ahead the processing with Enable Now. Okay, if you want to do the recording process, how can we do? What are the steps we need to do to record the process? So we have a concept of work area in Enable Now. So a work area would be given to you by your technical team. They will assign you the work area. Under the work area, we would be having specific projects. You need to create your project, or the project has been already created. And under the project, you would be able to going and you would be creating your training content. Okay, you will create, if required, you can create the project. You can click the record. You can have select the application which you want to record, and then you would be able to record. I would be able to give you a simulation. I also have a simulation of the recording it. I will show you that simulation, that how we do it. So the step is, first step we need to do is record. Second step we need to do is edit. Third step we need to do is export. Fourth step we need to do is publish. That is the high level steps, but in the project there can be multiple different steps can be there. You might need to get this approved. You might need to get this checked with the subject matter experts, with your core users, whether all the business related things, business scenarios has been explained correctly or not. So in between, it can be a lot of discussions, a lot of reviews can happen. So altogether, it looks like yeah, ऐसे हो जाएगा. But in projects based on the different stakeholders involved, these even small things also takes time. Small things also takes time. So let me try to give you some simulation of this one. Okay. So let me find it out something first for you, and then I will share my screen. Just give me a moment. Here it is, simulation recording. It's not opening. Just give me a minute. I'm restarting it. Okay, this might be good. Let me share with you. Okay. Now this is a recording process. So you can see here, this is how you would be able to see create project. You need to click on this plus icon, and then you would be able to create your project. To record it, I will try to also use, okay, it might not be possible, but to record it, we would be able to, you can see the red dot, the bindi lagate idhar, right? It is that red dot for the recording. And then you have select app and continue. So you would be selecting your app, any app which is open in your desktop. System will show all the app, which app you want to record it. Whether your browser you want to record, SAP GUI want to record, you would be able to do it. Then which region you want to record, you can select your regions also, that which region you want to record it. This red bar would be there, and this is very irritating. That's where basically it's not happen that we do the transaction ME21 and purchase of dala or record ho gaya. So every click will take time, because you need to understand this is not a simple recording. This is not a simple recording. System is trying to capture in this recording your full screen area. In screen, what elements are there, in which coordinate your mouse is there, for which coordinate point your mouse is clicking, on that part how much of the button size is there, and if the user click a little bit left or a little bit right, but it is on the button, still system should understand he is clicking on the button, and it should proceed ahead. So it is not a simple recording. It's not like a recording a session. It is recording your full desktop, and what is the user interface in the desktop. It's trying to understand it, which button is there, where exactly is there, what you are typing, where exactly you are typing it, all the things it is recording. The when we record something in the Zoom, just only the screen is recorded, right? But it goes beyond the screen. It try to understand your full user interface, and all the user interface at the back end, it is recording it. So this would be very slow recording. When we are recording it, when we will type something, then we need to wait. We need to wait till the system is saying that it has been recorded. Once it comes into the green, then we need to do the next step. Then we need to wait, do next step. So this would be a slow process. Okay, don't consider ki cut, immediate recording will happen. If you do a transaction in 1 minute, recording can take 10 minutes. Okay, so make that into consideration. We can pause record, stop recording, and then finally we would be save the project. So let's go ahead and let's try to do the simulation for this. how we would be recording it onto the Enable Now. So this is the plus icon is there. We can use, as I've seen, we can use it to create our project. Okay, we are going to create a simulation project that I will create it. This is the Fiori recording. We are going to do it. And then we need to start under this project. I would be clicking here the recording. In your projects, your change management teams, where basically it would be having experienced consultant, Enable Now consultants would be there. They would have might have given already a templates they have created. So we would be starting with the templates. We need to copy the project, and then under the template we'll go and then we'll create the start the recording. So there can be some templates which would be given to you in the projects. That templates we need to use it. That templates would be fixing a lot of things. What should be the first slide, cover page slide, what kind of fonts would be used, what kind of bubble shapes would be coming it up, that everything can be fixed in a template. So we'll click it here to start the recording. Okay, and then we will be clicking it here onto the home page to go into the Internet Explorer. So we want to explore. So as soon as I come, system is showing that, okay, this is the Internet Explorer. So when we do the recording, we need to make sure our system will stop everything. Okay, you need to exit all of the applications. So Teams, Zoom, or any application which can give you pop-up in between, because in between if pop-up will come, system will also record that. So what we need to do it when we do this recording, we need to make sure everything, Teams, Zoom, all other application we exit it. Only the application which we want to record it and the producer will be opening it. The first screen which you see it, there would be a producer icon. Once you download the producer given to you, once you double click on that producer icon, first screen will come. That screen and another screen which you want to record. Only two applications should be there. Okay, so what you want to record, we can select it here. You want to record SAP UI5 or the quick recording options there. Generally, quick recording always works better. Then we'll be able to click on continue. It would ask you whether full region need to be captured or you want to go ahead with a custom region. Okay, so you can also go ahead with the custom region. What need to be selected? So we have selected here. You can see the red icon. By selecting this red icon has been shifted here. So we are not recording the URLs on top of it. Above screen, we are leaving it. And you can also leave the below screen if your bar is coming, your text bar is coming. Generally, we also prefer to hide the text bar, the toolbar, sorry, not the text bar, the toolbar which comes, so that you can hide or you can adjust your area so that it can record above the toolbar. We'll click on the next, we'll start the recording. As soon as you start the recording, you can see here the record icon. So the green tab, which is coming it here. So green tab is coming and the recording is happening for this part. This part from this line below, the recording is happening because of the area we have selected. This bar should be green. If you want to click on anything, now that is a tips and tricks I can give you with my experience. If you're recording something and you are trying to click on something, or if you try to press on something on your keyboard, don't do anything until unless it is busy. If it is recording something, it would be in the red. When it is in the red, you need to wait. Don't be impatient, right? If you say that, okay, red is there, you click it here, you click it here, you click it here, then your full screen will get hang. Then you need to go into control and delete and stop it. That happened very often at the start when I was not understanding. I was trying to do in the pace when I used to run the transaction. But you need to understand there is an application limitation. It's just doing a lot of work at the back end to record the screen. So once you click on this, after first clicking or typing something, you need to check. This should come from red to green. When this comes from red to green, then you proceed ahead. In between, if you want to pause the recording, you can pause. If you want to stop the recording, you can stop the recording. That kind of things you would be able to do it. Okay. So system will ask, do you want to pause or do you want to end? Here also, at the below also, there is a bar is there which is saying that do you want to pause the recording? You would be able to pause if you want from here. So from the recording screen again, we'll be able to start the recording again. This shows that this is showing the profile, which profile we are recording. We are recording UI5. We can pause it. We can stop it with this button, and we can also undo it. If you have done some recording and if you want to undo that recording, you don't want to capture it as a step in your screen, you can just undo it. Okay. By mistake, you have clicked on this one, but you was not supposed to do it. And then you are coming back. So that steps you don't want to record it. So you can do the undo recording. System will not capture those steps. Or if you have recording, it does not make that if you have recording something as some additional errors happen, it's fine. Because when you go into the editing, you can anyway delete those steps manually. It's very easy to delete the steps after the recording. While doing the recording itself, you can insert a screenshot. If you want to add an additional step on this screen, you want to explain a lot of things, you can go and insert a screenshot while doing the recording. An additional step would be added in the steps. So every screen, every click system is creating a step for you at the back end. So insert screenshot will add another step. Insert explanation, we can do it after the recording. We can go into the edit, and in edit, we can also insert the explanation. I basically find it out it's better. We complete the neat and clean recording, and all other things, the deleting stuff, inserting a screenshot, and inserting one more thing, duplicating a step, or inserting explanation, we can do it in editing. We should not bother about it during the recording. But during the recording also, if you want to give the insert explanation, I'm showing you because it's part of this demo, which I'm showing it to you, but I don't prefer to do it. But you can click on plus, and then you can put something here. So this would be, put it as explanation. This explanation, you would be able to change it in the edit mode if you want. Okay, so we can also go into the tools, and in the tools menu also, we would be able to take some more help. This is how the recording demo has been completed. This is how the recording is going to happen. Once recording is done, then we can go ahead and we can go into editing. I will also show you some editing. Editing will be the part which will take more time. Editing will be taking more time. So let me go into few things which I can show you in editing. Just give me a minute. Okay, let me share this here. This is how the editor will look like. Okay, this is how the editor will look like. This is the editor layout. On the left hand side, this would be there. This is the steps. Every step is, it is now, this will open, you will feel it is opening like a PPT. Every slide, every step would be shown you as a slide, as a PPT on the left hand side. You can see that if you have done the 100 step, 100 PPTs will come here. In between, the area would be there, which will be able to showcase, and you will be able to do the things. And on the right hand side, you would be able to text that in the practice text, what you need to do it. Demo text is that if it need to play as a video, if it is playing as a video, the different text you want to show. But if user is practicing it, the different text you want to show it. So that thing you would be able to mention it separately here. So 3 windows are there. This is the left hand side, this center window, and this is the right hand side window would be there, right? And sometimes the layout would be different. I will show you how you can change the layout. It looks like PPT, but it has much more complicated functions compared to PPT. Okay, does not underestimate that if you can, because I've used the word PPT, if you can use the PPT easily, that also you can do it easily. You can do it for sure, but you need to spend some time. Okay, you need to spend some time to understand it's all tool function features. There are a lot of tools function features are available, that all the tools you would be able to understand. I will try to explain few tools from here itself. So this is the button, you need to save it. Very easy, right? This is the button you would be able to play the simulation, right? So you have done some editing, you have added some text explanation, and you want to see how it will look like in the simulation. You can click it here, and then system will start that for this recording, how the simulation will look like. This is the editing button, and with this drop down, we'll be able to jump between the editings. You can have a separate editing for the video which will play. You can have a separate editing for the practice, and you can have a separate editing for the guided simulation. Okay, the separate editing, we can do it here. Okay, if you have done something or you say, oh, this is wrong, if you want to undo it, you can use this. If you want to redo it, you can use this. With this, we will be able to start the recordings. These are the two buttons we'll use to start the recording. And with these buttons, we'll be able to add the additional things. Let's say this button we use a lot to add the additional action items. Let's say you want to add one more click. While recording, you have not done it, but now you see that, okay, in this screen, I should have one click. And with click, I should explain something, right? So you want to add a click to it. You can do it. Or you say that I need to want user to input some more details, that also you can put it here. You want to add explanations you would be able to add from here. The bubbles which appears, right? If you want to add some drawings or something, you would be able to add some link insert. If you want to do it, you would be able to add it. Some practice questions in between you want to add after the 3 slide, you want to add that, okay, whether user has got it correct or not. You can also add a practice question. You can also add it. Okay. In this documentation, you can create a different documentation. You can generate a PDF, transaction guide, hands-on guide, business blueprint kind of document, multiple different documentation from this recording, including a PPT you can generate from here. So this is the same thing. Same icon is coming here. You would be able to download different documents out of it. Okay, apart from one practice we have seen, you can also create a end user transaction guide also with these recordings. So these are the things. Editing requires a lot of practice. Once you have this access, once you will be working on this, then you would be able to work on to the more things. These are the options which is used mostly in the editing. Okay, so editing is a long topic. I don't want to do it. Otherwise, it will convert into another 1.5 hour session only on editing. There are so many things. Once you get the system access, once you practice on it, you would be able to experience the editing more. Now, let me quickly jump. Let me in between see if there's any questions are there. RN is asking, is it a role? I'm not sure. What do you mean by that, RN? If you can explain a little bit more, I would be able to ask your question. If you don't have any questions, I want you to type in the chat window NQ quickly. NQ everyone. By the time I'm sharing my mind map. The rest things will be able to do it quickly. The major part is done. We'll be able to finish this in next 10 minutes. Everyone, quickly, NQ, NQ, NQ in the chat window, everyone. Archana is asking, is it linked to Signavio tool? Not directly. Not directly, it is linked to Signavio tool. It was showing Signavio because in the simulation, we were trying to record something in the Signavio. Okay. So processing with Enable Now, we have seen the features of Enable Now. We can create the application simulations. We have seen guided simulation, test simulations. We can create the hands-on guides. We can create the exercises also. You can create it by this exercise document, which they need to follow it to do in the system. That kind of things also you can do it once the recording has been done. SOPs templates are available. You can create with this SOPs, transaction guides you can create. Blueprint structure, it is there, you can create the blueprint, but it is not kind of a blueprint which we create for SAP blueprints, because that generally does not have the screenshot, but it has one of the option you can create blueprints. But don't consider that the SAP blueprint which we create with it. That is kind of a template of blueprint with some screenshots it will show you. Transaction videos, you can once the recording and editing has been done, you can create 10 different documents out of it. Okay, you can create it as a recording, practice guide, guided practice, exercise guide, transaction guide, so many things you can create. Export it in a different formats. Its availability we have talked about. It's available on premise and it's available on cloud version. I have experienced both. Cloud version I found is little better than on premise, the performance wise. Issues with Enable Now. Recording of the transaction are quite slow. Okay, recording, make some patience. Don't say that, okay, this is very slow because it is doing a lot of things. Recording would be slow. Major problem will come if you're using Citrix. Many of the clients you give access to you through Citrix. So with the Citrix, there can be performance issues. You need to also check your system capabilities. It will require minimum 12 GB or 16 GB RAM and good processor it will require it, so that it would be able to run Enable Now. If your systems are not proper, if you are using Citrix and in Citrix it has a low RAM, then in the remote desktop configurations need to be changed so that it can perform better. Editing of the recordings will require some expertise. Okay, you need to spend some time and you need to, after spending some time, you will be able to know that how the editing need to happen. The first editing can take easily a small transaction. You can spend a couple of days on editing. But once you are expertise, within 3 to 4 hours, you would be able to edit, or within 2 hours also, very simple transactions can be edited. Now, role of a functional consultant. What role functional consultant need to do? So there can be two kind of segments can be there. You can have some expert people. The Enable Now consultants can be there in the big projects which has a lot of budget. They can bring it. It is called instructional designers. They can bring the instructional designers. They don't know SAP. They don't know SAP, but if you give them the script, okay, this script need to be followed. This data you need to enter it. You can put it onto the Word. They would execute that script. They will do the editing, and whatever the end thing is required, they will give it to you. So we are just giving a script to them. In some cases, they will ask, you will yourself feel that, okay, I can go ahead and record it by myself. I will go ahead and do the recording, and editing part would be done by the instruction designers. In our projects, the functional consultant itself has now been trained. Earlier, instructional designers were doing it, but we want to create so many app sims. So a lot of consultants has been trained now, and now we as a functional consultant, we record our transaction on Enable Now, and we do all the required editing. Sometimes we need to take help of the instructional designers, but we do the editing, and then the publishing part is done by the other team members, technical team members, the instruction designer. They do the publishing part. But once you have trained, once you have access as a functional consultant, you would be able to record the transactions, and you would also be able to convert them into the you would be able to also do the editing and convert into the simulation exercise. But this things requires a lot of time. The problem is the way the staffing has happened. Generally, to create those app simulations, the functional consultant will not have that much of time bandwidth to do it. That's why I have seen that wherever this app simulations comes, most of the cases it would be a separate team. We need to put it to create this training content. In that team, there would be some functional consultant, SD, PP functional consultants would be there, who would be doing that. They know the Enable Now, they know the tools, and they also know the functional modules. So they would be able to do the work quickly. So instructional designer only know the tool. Okay, and the functional consultants only know the SAP. So what we are doing in Sastrageek, we are training our all consultants. functional consultant, we are training them on Enable Now and other tools also. And then they go into the projects. We take a specific project for the end user training. We already have a multiple clients for it. So we put the specific functional consultant who knows all these tools. They goes into the projects. They take care the full part of the change management. They take care the full part of the training. So there is a functional consultant who is doing his role, and these functional consultant would jump into it from the training specific work. They would be doing all the training development, all the training content development, including PPTs, including app simulations, would be done by that specific team, focus team. And they would be doing the even train the trainer also would be done by this specific team, or end user training. Sometime also we are doing it. So we are running those specific projects. We have around multiple consultants in each stream. We have given them the project mindset from the training side, training methodology, training activities, training tools. That are the things we have trained them, and we give them as a resource. We take training projects, end user training projects we take to create all these kind of contents. Again, who is creating the content? They are the functional consultants. We are training them on Enable Now. Not only Enable Now, we have other tools also. Articulate Rise also can do the same thing, but not fine-tuned for SAP. We have used for SAP recordings, but then we have scrapped it. It didn't do that well recordings. Adopt Captivate, we are trying to use it now. In Sastrageek solutions, we have taken the license. We are exploring more the Adopt Captivate. Captivate has a good functionality. The recording tool sounds good. We have done some recordings into SAP also. It can also record anything, Adopt Captivate. It can create a full curriculum, and it can also do this record simulations. We recorded some browser application. It worked good. We have tried recording GUI, but still we need to do more on the GUI to consider whether it would be able to consider a recording or a replacement of Enable Now or not. But Adopt Captivate has a good function features. It can be definitely competitor for Enable Now. Okay, with this, I finish off my session here. And if you have any questions, you can feel free to ask. You can raise your hand, or you can unmute, or you can put in the chat. I have few questions. Can you please re-explain what is Enable Now? Can you please re-explain what is Enable Now briefly? Wow, that is a good question. After having how long I spent? After having a session for 90 minutes on Enable Now, I need to explain again what is Enable Now. So Enable Now is a platform by which you would be able to create trainings, documents, training content, specifically the application simulations. Algrady, if you have joined late, I have started this one that what Enable Now can do it. I have shown one of the app simulation. So basically you can generate your application simulations, and you can train your end users onto the simulation tool rather than training them, giving them the actual SAP systems. Tushar says Citrix makes me cry every day. Okay. The output file for the video, is it need special player? No, it's an MP4 file with any kind of player it can work, Muhammad. The output MP4 file, video file can be played with any basic player. Venkat is asking when would be the next batch start for SAP S/4HANA production planning PP? Another 1 to 1.5 months will take it to start another batch on SAP S/4HANA production planning. Okay. Anyone has any another question? If you want to speak, raise your hand and I will give you a chance to unmute. Mohammed is asking, do you provide basis trainings? Yes, we do provide basis trainings. Aman, please give a link to Mohammed for the basis training. We have a very good basis trainer and he provides the basis trainings. Okay. If you don't have any questions on the Enable Now, any one of you have any kind of career-related question, feel free to ask. Any career-related questions, feel free to ask. Any training on SAP Signavio? SAP Signavio, not the training, but I want to cover into the step-up circle. This is the request I'm keep on getting, and I will do that. That is in my pending list. I will at least give a step-up circle a free session on Signavio. How about Ariba S/4HANA procurement training to get start? See, all of the trainings we do throughout the year. Throughout the year, one batch start, finish, and we don't give you the access to a batch. We give you access for a year to our learning platform, which means within a year, whatever the different iterations we are doing it, you are able to attend all of the iterations. Okay. So if you say Ariba going on, PP going on, sourcing and procurement going on, iteration is going on, it is at the 70% of the stage. And within a 1 month, when this iteration finish, you would be able to jump into the next iteration. Once you enroll, you can join this iteration. You would also be able to join the next iteration also. What I always prefer people or all the students to enroll it and go through the videos. And when the live sessions call comes, you also try to join the live session. So you prepare yourself for the next batch. If you have gone through some of the video recordings, and with that context, if you jump into the session, your presence and your understanding and the concept clearing will happen very well. You know that the teachers say that whatever the chapter you want, I'm going to teach you. First, you give a pre-read, then you would be able to understand it better, right? So that's what we do. You just enroll it, go through the videos, and uh, we keep on doing into the rotations. One batch finish, another batch start, one batch finish, another batch start. And within your subscription of 1 year, you would be able to attend all of the live batches in a year. VT is asking whether the trial versions of Enable now available. I don't find it out the trial versions. So if you need to practice on the Enable now, you need to either take the license, which is very expensive, or you need to wait whenever in the project it is introduced, then you would be able to experience. We'll try to do an Enable Now training. I'm not sure if you will be able to do it. The problem is server. If we are getting a server, we'll try to do one training on Enable Now. Swapnil is saying, how much time we require to complete SAP Enable Now module? Now, Swapnil, Enable Now, there's a two things. One is as a functional consultant, what you need to know. Functional consultant, you need to know how to record it and how to edit it. That is very quick. In 2 to 3 weeks, you would be able to understand that part. But when we say SAP Enable Now consultant need to also know the all configurations, that how the Enable Now need to set it up for a company. How to Enable Now need to set it up by in a manager. Manager is another tool. How the courses need to be published. First customizations, settings need to be done for that. That is the Enable Now consultant. But as a functional consultant, what you need to know about Enable Now, in easily 2 to 3 weeks, you can learn that. Muhammad is having a question. Go ahead, Muhammad. Muhammad, you would be able to unmute yourself now.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. Really, I'm very happy to join this session today. I have a question regarding career. I start my career as a SAP basis in ECC 6, and I stopped from working in SAP for a long time, more than 4 years. And now I'm trying to catch up with the SAP, but unfortunately, all the jobs on and vacation now is about the S/4HANA and HANA database. What's your advice to catch up with this new feature?
So you have done it on which module you are working on ECC?
Basis, SAP basis.
You're working on SAP basis. So for S/4HANA, you need to make sure, and there is a specific course coming. We are having one advanced course specifically for S/4HANA things so that people should know about a little bit more on HANA, S/4HANA conversion kind of projects which is happening. So that things you need to learn. So you can drop a message to support team Mohammed, support at Sastrageek Solution. I was having last week itself, I was having a discussion with my team and with the trainer to the advanced basis training. And I think what you need to go with is the advanced basis training so that you can understand what are the more function features are there in HANA as for HANA and how the conversion projects can be handled. Right? So that kind of training you need to do for upskilling you should go for. And if you drop an email to support@sastrageek.com, we would be able to assist you. Very soon we are going to start that advanced training. I hope you got your question. I hope your question is answered, Mohammed.
Yeah, it is clear now. Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Sure, thank you for joining. Narayana is asking, do you provide training on SAP integration suite? Not as of now, Narayana. That part we don't have a training as of now. Already has a question. I have one. When we try to close the previous period, the standard cost, okay, that is going into the finance. When we try to close the previous period, the standard cost of the process orders of the current period disappears. We didn't know why or how to solve this issue. When we close the previous period, the standard cost of process orders of the current period. Okay, so in the current period, when you're closing the previous period, the cost is changing for the current, it is disappearing or it's changing. Because with period end closing also sometimes the processes has been set it up that we do the period end closing, then the reproduct cost estimate can happen. Generally, it does not happen. Generally, we try to do it with once in a 6 month or once in a year, we do the product cost estimate. We do it. But if your system has been set it up for the monthly cost estimates and it is linked with the product costing with period and closing, there can be some steps which would be there, which might be automated also, which is trying to do the re-estimate of course for the cost for the current month based on the previous month calculations. So that might be a reason. So you need to check in your project what is set up with the controlling guy or with the controlling consultant already. He or she would be able to guide you better. For cloud experience in SAP, Carrier is okay. What kind of cloud experience? Which module we are talking about, Shivakoti? If you can elaborate it, then I would be able to answer it better. Shashi is asking, I am in SAP Ariba and how best it would be useful if we know the enable now. I foresee that the client interaction will cut down by by doing so. So enable now can be used. I feel that the basic understanding should be there all the functional consultants should understand the basic functionality. Because any tool, any product which we have, they can all use enable now. You can use enable now. So the basic understanding should be there. SAP PP Public Cloud have done one end-to-end implementation. Shivakoti, you have done in PP end-to-end public cloud. That's good. But the manufacturing customers, I would say that 90 to 95 customers are still on the private cloud or the on-premise. Private cloud and on-premise is exactly same. I would say that you should also learn SAP S/4HANA, let's say 2023, which is a private cloud version or on-premise version. You should also learn that so that you should be able to open for both kind of projects, the public cloud projects and the on-prem projects. Satish is asking, is there any training on SAP public cloud modules? As of now, we don't have it, but it is in pipeline. Public cloud trainings are in pipeline. Okay, with that, I don't see. Sashi, as I told you that we are into the repetitions. The current iteration is going on, and in a month or 1.5 month, another batch will start for sourcing and procurement. You can join now. You can join the existing batch. You can also be able to join the next batch. Okay, with that, we are ending our today's session. Thank you everyone for joining today. And thank you for giving us, asking us for different topics. I also feel encouraged. And I met a lot of students when I went to SIT Bangalore yesterday. So it's nice to get interacted with you, and thank you for giving us option to be a part of your learning journey, so that we are able to, in any form, we are able to help you to get a better understanding of SAP. We feel very proud of it. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Bye-bye for now.